All right, welcome to the weekly What's Up. And we have a very exciting week this week. There is a lot going on. It's a very roller coastery week. So this is for the week of November the 16th through the 22nd of November 2020. There is not much time left in 2020, guys. So let's get busy making the most of the time that we have, right? So we start this week with a Venus-Jupiter square. And so there's a lot going on with Venus, first of all. Let's, I cannot stress this enough. Pay attention to Venus energy right now. Venus is all about balance, harmony, love, you know, how things feel lovely, right? So pay attention, you know, to the things that you love. And so Venus squaring Jupiter is about bigness, right? And as Venus squares Jupiter, all those places where you may have over-promised or over-emphasized or overbalanced, right? And there is such a thing as overbalancing. And when we overbalance, then we correct a little too hard. So just pay attention, because this Libra and Capricorn energy might be about the way that things snap back and how we have to be mindful of our rebalancing, right? But it's a good thing, right? You know, this is about being able to witness and recorrect. And then on Tuesday, Mercury is in opposition to Uranus, and so this is the third, I think, in about 5 or 6 weeks of this opposition that we've seen as Mercury was in retrograde. And so this Mercury and Uranus energy in Scorpio and Taurus is all about how we communicate and how we might communicate in fits and starts, or we might have sudden insights in terms of our communication or the energy around that, right? So Mercury represents lower communication and Uranus is about higher communication. And so this is perhaps the way our communication communicates, if that makes any sense to you. Especially with Scorpio and Taurus energy, this is about the tangible versus the intangible, right? The real versus the etheric, the individual versus the united. So there are ways where things might have been sort of staticky, right, or tense, and this is going to put a bit of punctuation on that. On Wednesday, we have this cool thing that happens on Wednesday and Thursday, right? We have a lot of 27s, and so 27, we'll have Venus at 27 degrees of Libra. We'll have the Sun at 27 degrees of Scorpio. And we will have, Saturn at 27 of Capricorn, which of course creates a Venus-Saturn square, right? And where that Venus-Jupiter square was a little bit bigger, a little bit more round and not so jagged, this one could feel a little bit restrictive, because of course Saturn is about boundaries and restrictions, and you know, especially in things like love and beauty and harmony, we're not really in love with boundaries and restrictions. However, sometimes we need boundaries and restrictions to balance our hearts out, right? So especially as we're talking about these energies in Libra and Capricorn, we really want to be mindful of our purposes, right, behind love, because the bottom line is we can be as in love and as all about justice and balance and harmony as we'd like to be, But if it doesn't have a functional, practical side, it's probably not going to do us a lot of good in terms of reality. Like, we can be in love with an idea, we can be in love with an ideal, but when it comes to bringing that into the 3D, we have to pay attention to how we're going to do that, right? And what I find really interesting is on that day, the moon moves through those big three and hits that 27 degrees, right? So this is again about how our feelings either get supported or unsupported in terms of those energies. And so just be mindful of that, because again, you know, we can be all up in our feels, but there has to be a place to go, right, with your feelings. It's great to have feelings. I mean, they are our directives. They are our motivations. But if you don't have that dedication behind your motivation, what happens is that it lasts for a very short period of time, but it doesn't have anything sustainable. And so what you're looking for is a sustainable outlet or vessel or expression for your feelings. And I mean, we need to have those things. Otherwise, they're just feels spinning around in the dust. So on Saturday, well, Friday and Saturday, a lot of things happen. Venus moves into Scorpio. That's exciting. So, in addition, the sun moves into Sagittarius and the moon moves into Pisces. Okay, so this is a whole bunch of stuff, right? So this is about our feelings. Like, let's talk about Venus moving into Scorpio, right? So Scorpio is that sign of what is hidden, right? Scorpio is about union. We come out of Libra into Scorpio. We come from relationships to union, right? Scorpio is about that third spacing, that interstitial joining of two things that creates that nebulous third space, that love, that divine intersection, right? And so with Venus moving into Scorpio, that deepens our experience of those things, and it deepens our experience of all of those things Venusian too, right? So balance, harmony, love, beauty, all of those concepts widen and deepen and broaden and take on that light characteristic. And I don't mean like light, because Scorpio is all about magnetics and deepening and amplifying. So I mean light, like they take on that quality of light. You know how sometimes you go outside on a summer evening and there's that quality of light that's almost dense, that you can almost witness what is in the space between you and whatever it is you're looking at. That's what I'm talking about, right? It magnifies that space between, right? So pay attention. As the sun moves into Sagittarius, right? Sagittarius is about the abstraction. Sagittarius is, how do I relate to that higher concept? How do I relate to the divine? How do I relate to things that I can learn, or people around me, or, you know, bigger concepts? So that will come into play. And as the moon moves into Pisces, we already know that Neptune is in Pisces, and Pisces is ruled by Neptune. And this is that place where we are more apt to grasp a thing by the way it feels than by the way it is described, right? We know that our language is simply a tool for interpretation of our feelings, right? You know, language is a great tool, but it's simply a tool to clarify, or at least communicate what we feel inside. And what we feel inside is really our true nature. That's our essence, right? We are creatures of feeling. And our conscious mind, that way that we describe things in language, simply is so that we can convey what we are feeling. And so on Saturday, pay attention, because all of those things are going to come to the forefront. And we will be as those feelings, right? So definitely deepen into them. And then on Sunday, the 22nd, we've got the moon trining Venus, right? Yeah, so, and Mercury is in conjunct Mars and trining Neptune, right? So Mercury is going to perhaps need to, we'll need to maybe watch our communications a little bit this week, you know, with Mercury opposite Uranus and all of this, you know, in conjunct Mars, trining Neptune. We're going to be inexact. We're going to tend to be inexact in our communications, especially with the moon sextiling Uranus. You know, it might be a good week to feel and not say, right? To move in silence and to let things stew and brew. I mean, Mars is just coming out of being retrograde since September, and so it might be a really good time. And I think Mercury just comes out of his shadow actually on this Tuesday, so it might be a really good time to just be a little bit more contemplative, a little less inclined to move forward. It might be time to just coast just a little bit longer, because next week is a pretty doggone big week, guys. Next week, the moon is going to move through Chiron and Mars, right? So again, we're going to be feeling, our wounds, right? We're going to be feeling, and perhaps a little bit more apt to be a little bit more reactive. Next week, Venus opposes Uranus and the moon, and they do that at 8 degrees, right? Well, no, I think maybe it's 7. But that's going to echo that configuration from that full moon where Uranus was conjunct the moon, right? And then on November 30th, at 3:30 Central, at 8 degrees, again, Sagittarius and Gemini, we have a full moon lunar eclipse. And the bottom line is that, you know, the universe is getting things done. So all we can do is be in support of that, and be open and in our truths, right? Just be open, knowing that change is our constant, right? So let's talk, okay? So Monday, this is that Venus square Jupiter day. So again, we're in transition, right? King of Cups, again, perhaps reserving that emotional judgment, feeling into it, but not over-promising, knowing that we have places to go, but knowing that also sometimes discretion is the better part of valor. Even if you feel a thing, you don't always have to throw it out there. Sometimes you need to hold on to it and allow transitions to bloom in their own time, not push them, right? So Tuesday, when Mercury is opposing Uranus, this is Seven of Pentacles is about waiting, right? And the Page of Wands, I mean, God love him. So the Page of Wands is about feeling inspired. I mean, really wanting to shout it from the rooftops. This is what I know. This is what I feel. But you're being asked to wait. Just shh. Hold it inside. Hold it inside for a little bit longer. Just a little bit longer. Let it brew. Let it stew. Let it move through the currents. Just hold on to it just a little bit longer. On Wednesday, we have got the King of Cups and the King of Swords, right? Coming out of this energy here. So this is about, wow, we got the King of Cups again. So this is about emotional awareness, a little bit reserved, because we know in Eileen land, the queens are the fullness of emotional expression, and the kings are that one step back, right? So this is, I know I have my ideas, but I'm gonna just witness and wait. This is, I know what I feel, but I'm gonna wait, right? He's literally sitting on an island in the middle of the ocean, right? He's not ready to put his feelings into effect. He's holding on to them. He's rooted in his feelings, but he's waiting. The King of Swords is about, I know what I think. I know what I wish to say, but I'm going to wait until the right time, right? I don't feel the need to go off half-cocked like this Page of Wands. You know, this is perfect for Mercury opposed to Uranus. This is about blurting and being so forthright in your truth that you don't consider the consequences. This is asking you to consider the consequences. This is saying, I hope you considered the consequences, right? And then on Thursday, when we've got that Venus square Saturn, right? So we have the Nine of Pentacles, right? The Nine of Pentacles is about beautiful abundance. The Nine of Pentacles is, I've got this. I'm independent. I know what I feel, and I'm claiming it for myself, right? This is a card of independence within self. And this Three of Swords can either mean that we are claiming this for ourselves because we understand or we've had loss in the past, or we claim it for ourselves because the idea of heartbreak is, or loss or sadness, right? We've known sadness, and so we're claiming this independence as ourself and for ourselves, right? I don't need the heartbreak. I claim this for me. Venus in Saturn, Venus square Saturn is about knowing which restrictions are valid and which restrictions work, right? And which restrictions you need to impart for yourself. Remember, Saturn is about creating internal rules and boundaries and restrictions so that you avoid external heartache. So this is about knowing how to create your own environment, right? So that the external imposition of these ideas does not then snap back at you. Friday, the moon is squaring Mercury. So we have the Lovers and the Two of Swords. So this is all about decisions, right? The Lover is a card of decisions. It's a card of Gemini. And the Two of Swords is all about standing still, right? Being in the midst of making a decision, feeling your way, right? We're not looking at what's happening. You know, we've got a masked figure and, you know, she's not really looking at what's happening. So this is about as above, so below. This is, I have two ways I could go. I'm going to reserve judgment, right? This is a week of, I'm just going to hang in. I'm just going to keep breathing and trust, right? This is also a card of faith. So is the Lovers, right? The Lovers is all about trusting divine timing. So this is a card of just hanging out, sitting with what I know to be true and where I'm going, so that when it arrives, I'm ready. I'm ready, right? Okay, so Venus moves into Scorpio, the Sun moves into Sagittarius, the Moon moves into Pisces. Remember, we're talking about deepening and feeling and abstraction. So we have the Ten of Swords, right? Cycles. We have been through so much in the last couple of years, and we are coming out of this energy. We are in the Ten of Swords. We are at that rock bottom, hard. You know, I do know some people who have had great years, or a great couple of years. I don't know many, however. I think that if I took a random sampling poll based on the people who contact me on a daily basis, Most people would say the last 3 years can just take a long walk off a short pier, right? But these are the lessons, right? And we get to step out of our lessons. That's the thing. We get to step out of our lessons. How? By trusting divine timing. Again, right? We trust this divine timing. We know that love and union will prevail. We know that the universe is always going to provide. We know that no matter what we have created for ourselves based on what we knew to be true, or the ways that we've had to wait, or the ways that we've been mandated to wait, or all the ways that transition has been challenging, that we're going to come through it in a place of beauty because we have faith, right? What better way to know that at rock bottom, the only way to go is up? That's a beautiful thing. This is about divine union. This is about divine inspiration. This is about divine timing, right? It might have sucked, but all things with a purpose, right? And I mean, on Sunday. So we have the sun, right? Happiest card in the deck. And the Six of Swords again, bringing us right back to transition. We're in transition. And what's happening? Oh, Lord, wait, this is judgment. I'm so wrong. I'm so sorry. This is judgment. Hello. So this is judgment, and it's about rebirth and cycles, right? It's about, we are witness to all this divine timing. We are witness to all of this divine inspiration. We are witness to our own divine urges, right? We are witness to our own divine rest and peace. And as we have waited, as we've waited and created for ourselves and trusted, what happens is renewal, right? We have the cosmic egg. We have ego death, right? We have judgment, rebirth, transition away from all of the turbulence out into the smooth sailing waters. And this is all about this journey, which has been a journey for all of us, of faith in the universe, of trust in the universe, and surrender of ourselves to all of those things. So, I mean, yeah. Yep. That's what I know. That's what you know too, right? You know it. If this is number 38 again, I'm giving up. Not really. Ooh, time for a nap. Look. See? The universe wants us to just hang in and wait. Number 24. Rest, rejuvenation, renewal, temporary non-action. Allowing dreams to arise. This is the time to step away and rest. Let the cares of the world go. Go into a state of non-action and allow yourself to be free of the shackles of your goals, your lists, your desires. Nothing is important as rest, detachment, and neutrality. The overly busy mind can block you from your inner wisdom. If you don't step back, take a seat, and rest. Be willing to let dreams surface and ideas flow through you, absent any force or conscious direction, as you observe without engagement now. If y'all don't know, the universe has this by now. I don't know that I'm going to be able to convince you, but I hope you figured it out by now. Every word is a magic word. So, as Mercury opposes Uranus, we've got that reminiscent of our full moon energy in Scorpio and Taurus, right? And this is about the resources of your soul. This is about creating simply through your words and intentions and your expression and your communication. And it doesn't have to be your words, right? What did we just talk about? Our language is so imperfect and precise that if you really, really want to create, then you create from that place of feeling, and you allow your feelings to take up that space as your intention. So if you can create a feeling state to which you are steering, right? Six of Swords, transitioning, being steered, right? Being steered from that place of emotional turbulence to emotional stability, right? Emotional balance, right? Away from emotional turbulence toward emotional stability. Away from turmoil, right? From emotional turmoil to emotional stability. Patience, y'all. Patience. It's all there. Next week, full moon lunar eclipse, 8 degrees. Gemini and Sagittarius energy. It's going to be very bouncy and bold next week. But this week, keep breathing, right? With Scorpio and Taurus, this is about resources and where you replenish your soul's resources. Source yourself appropriately, right? Big blessings, guys. Talk to you soon.